Welcome to the class 7 students. This is the continuation part of the chapter photosynthesis, and in my previous few videos I have discussed the concept of photosynthesis, what is stomata, what are guard cells, how guard cells regulate the opening and closing of stomata. Then I have discussed the raw materials of photosynthesis, what is their source, the structure of chloroplast, why leaf is considered the most suitable organ, and then the process of photosynthesis. So I hope you have understood all these portions, and then the last few topics that I am going to discuss today is firstly the factors that affect photosynthesis. Factors affecting photosynthesis. Now, factors such as light, chlorophyll, temperature, carbon dioxide and water, these are the main factors which affect the process of photosynthesis. How does it affect? The increase and decrease in the concentration of these factors will increase or decrease the rate of photosynthesis. This is how it affects the rate of photosynthesis. Okay. Now, what are the factors? First factor is obviously sunlight. Very important factor. Light energy is trapped by the chlorophyll and is used to convert raw materials into sugar. So until and unless sunlight falls on the leaves, the whole process will not start. So we have already discussed that when sunlight falls on the leaves, the chlorophyll becomes activated and it starts the whole process. How? The activated chlorophyll splits the absorbed water into hydrogen and hydroxyl ions, and that starts the whole process. So obviously light energy is very important, and not only just any light energy, it has to be sunlight. And even if there is a source of artificial light, the artificial light has to be a very high intensity which can match the intensity of that of sun, so that that artificial light can help in the process of photosynthesis. Okay. Next, obviously chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is found in structures called chloroplast. We have already discussed that it enables the plant to trap light energy. So chlorophyll becomes activated when sunlight falls on it and starts the process of photosynthesis. Next is temperature. So if there is not enough chlorophyll present in any green leaf, the whole process of photosynthesis will not take place properly. Third factor is temperature. The series of chemical reactions occurring during photosynthesis can take place only at a suitable temperature. So the whole process of photosynthesis is basically a series of chemical reactions, right? Splitting up of H2O into H plus and OH minus, breakdown of carbon dioxide to form carbon, and from that glucose will be formed. So all these are chemical reactions, and you all know that you have learned in chemistry that all chemical reactions take place at a certain temperature. Now this photosynthesis, which is basically a series of chemical reactions, also take place at a suitable temperature. The optimum temperature being 20 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. So between this range of temperature, photosynthesis can take place properly. Below this and above this, it will be impaired. Either the rate of photosynthesis will be low or it will be high. Okay. Next factor that affects the rate of photosynthesis is carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is taken in from the atmosphere through the stomata, right? So the rate of photosynthesis, see in your book, the rate of photosynthesis increase with an increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide. So the more the amount of carbon dioxide, rate of photosynthesis will also be more. Rate of pH means rate of photosynthesis, okay? Rate of photosynthesis will increase if there is a higher concentration of carbon dioxide within the plant body. Okay. Next is availability of water. See, less than 1% of the total water absorbed by the plants is utilized as a raw material for photosynthesis. So plants absorb a large amount of water through the root hairs from the soil, right? So out of that whole amount of water, less than 1% is used for photosynthesis. So that is obviously a very small percentage of water, and thus it seems that water hardly affects the rate of photosynthesis. Water is needed for the process of photosynthesis, but it is not that it needs a very high amount of water. It needs just a little bit of water, and with that amount of water, photosynthesis can occur. Okay, so these are all the factors affecting photosynthesis. Now, if any of these factors is affected, the rate of photosynthesis gets affected. Suppose there is not enough sunlight, the intensity of the sunlight is not much. The intensity of the sunlight is not much, but all these others are there in optimum quantity. In that case, the process of photosynthesis will be impaired. Either the rate will decrease, mostly it will decrease. Okay. Similarly, if the temperature is too low or too high, means out of the range of 20 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius, in that case also, even if all other four factors are present in proper amount, the rate of photosynthesis will not take place properly. See, in your book you will find, for example, there will be no photosynthesis in the absence of light, even if there is adequate carbon dioxide and water. Similarly, the rate of photosynthesis will slow down if the light intensity is low, or if there is not enough carbon dioxide. Not enough carbon dioxide is there. So how will photosynthesis take place? Because this is one of the most important raw materials of photosynthesis, right? So these are all the factors that affect photosynthesis. Now, moving on to what happens to the end products formed during photosynthesis. Now, what are the end products of photosynthesis? We all have discussed about the end products. One end product is C6H12O6 and the other one is O2, glucose and oxygen. These are the two end products of photosynthesis, right? Now, what happens to these end products after being formed by the process of photosynthesis? What happens to these end products? The glucose manufactured in leaves is either used by the cells. It is either used by the cells or is stored in the form of starch. So, rest extra is stored in the form of starch. At night, when photosynthesis stops, the starch in the leaves is converted back into this glucose form, which can be used up by the plant body. So, at night, photosynthesis is not taking place because there is no sunlight. So how will the plants get their energy? The stored glucose in the form of starch, plants cannot use starch. They need to convert starch back into such a form which can be used by the plants, and then the plants use that leftover glucose during the night, and again when in the next day photosynthesis occurs, the same thing happens. Okay. And the next one is oxygen. What happens to the oxygen? Oxygen is mostly diffused out, that means released out into the atmosphere through the stomata. This oxygen is used by all living beings, including us, for respiration. So we take in oxygen while we take in, means breathe in, right? So that oxygen comes from the plant body. So this portion is over. Lastly, we have the significance of photosynthesis. Now, what is the significance of photosynthesis? Obviously, the first significance is that it traps, means the plants trap light energy and convert it into chemical energy and produce food. It is the main source of food. The other one is that it maintains O2 CO2 balance. The plant, by performing the process of photosynthesis, they do these two main or important things. They are the main source of food and they maintain the O2 CO2 balance. How? Plants take in carbon dioxide given by us when we breathe out, and they produce oxygen by the process of photosynthesis, which we take in. As a result, the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is maintained. We take in the extra oxygen, plants take in the extra carbon dioxide. So there is none of this is remaining extra in the atmosphere. So we both depend on each other for living our life. We depend on the plants for oxygen, the plants depend on us for carbon dioxide. So it is a mutual dependency between the plants and the living and the animals. Okay, so in your book you will find the significance of photosynthesis. Every living organism in the earth requires food and oxygen to live. The process of photosynthesis gives both food and oxygen. Food is produced by the process of photosynthesis. Leaves capture light energy from the sun and use it to make food. Animals that feed on plants get this energy, right? And they pass it on to the further and eaten by other animals. Suppose this is a plant and this is a deer and this is a tiger. So plant produces food, deer, the arrow will be this way. The deer eats some plants and is getting the direct energy from the plant, and the tiger is feeding on the deer and indirectly getting the energy of the plant. So the deer is passing on its energy which it obtained from the plants to the tiger. So this interaction is direct interaction and this interaction is indirect interaction. Okay, so the energy is passed on to the next animal in the food chain. And talking about the next point, all living organisms require oxygen. This oxygen is released by plants during photosynthesis. In the absence of photosynthesis, the oxygen level in the atmosphere would decrease and life on Earth would become impossible. So obviously O2-CO2 balance is also maintained because plants give oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide, and we need what the other gives out. We need oxygen and the plants need carbon dioxide. As a result, the balance is maintained. So this is all about the chapter of photosynthesis. I hope it is clear to you all. Thank you.